Yes. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namo Pankajanabhaya Namo Pankajamalini Namo Pankajanitraya Namaste Pankajangri. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10, verses 22 to 30. Prahalad, the best amongst the exalted devotees. Text 22. My dear, Text 22. My dear child, your father has already been purified just by the touch of my body at the time of his death. Nonetheless, the duty of the son is to perform the Shraddha ritualistic ceremony after his father's death so that his father may be promoted to the planetary system where he may become a good citizen and devotee. Text 23. After performing the ritualistic ceremonies, take charge of your father's kingdom. Sit upon the throne and do not be disturbed by materialistic activities. Please keep your mind fixed upon me without transgressing the injunctions of the Vedas as a matter of formality. You may perform your particular duties. Text 24. Sri Narada Muni continued. Thus, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead ordered, Prahlad Maharaj performed the ritualistic ceremonies for his father. O King Yudhishthira, he was then enthroned in the kingdom of Hiranyakashipu as directed by the Brahmanas. Text 25. Lord Brahma, surrounded by the other demigods, was bright-faced because the Lord was pleased. Thus he offered prayers to the Lord with transcendental words. Text 26. Lord Brahma said, O Supreme Lord of all the lords, proprietor of the entire universe, O benedictors of all the living entities, O original person, Adipurusha, because of our good fortune, you have now killed this sinful demon who was given trouble to the entire universe. Text 27. This demon, Hiranyakashipu, received from me the benedictions that he would not be killed by any living being within my creation. With this assurance and with the strength derived from austerities and mystic power, he became exclusively proud and transgressed all the Vedic injunctions. Text 28. By great fortune, Hiranyakasipu's son Prahalad Maharaj has now been released from death. For although he is a child, he is an exalted devotee. Now he is fully under the protection of your lotus feet. Text 29. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are the Supreme Soul. If one meditates upon your transcendental body, you naturally protect him from all sorts of fear, even the imminent danger of death. Text 30. The Personality of Godhead replied, My dear Lord Brahma, O great Lord born from the lotus flower, just as it is dangerous to feed milk to a snake, so it is dangerous to give benedictions to the demon, who are by nature ferocious and jealous. I warn you not to give such benedictions to any demon again. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mate. So I'll keep the phone here. Let me know if you can still hear or not. If somebody is not able to hear, I can change the position of the phone. Or is it audible? Okay, or shall I change the position?
We can hear, Prabhuji.
Okay, perfect. So I'll offer brief prayers and we can start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chekshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Destarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's a very nice section. Interesting thing is that we're waiting for Narasimha Chaturdasi. We're preparing our consciousness for Narasimha Chaturdasi, which is coming up soon. So in that context, we also happen to read Narasimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj conversation, especially in this section. Narasimhadev was speaking after to Prahlad Maharaj. So that's a wonderful section to be in while meditating on Narasimha Chaturdasi. So I'll give brief context, and then I came today to attend my Guru Maharaj morning Bhagavatam class, which starts around 7:30. So I'll try to see if I can complete before 7:30 by still covering the most important points for this session today. Yeah. So let me see. So, okay, the context overall is Narasimhadev appeared to protect Prahlad Maharaj, and Narasimhadev killed Hiranyakashipu, and then Narasimhadev was very angry even after killing Hiranyakashipu, and then all the demigods tried to pacify him. Then Narasimhadev still not pacified, and then Prahlad Maharaj offered prayers in the last chapter, 9th chapter, and Prahlad Maharaj pacified Narasimhadev, and then uh, Narasimhadev asked him what may asked for some benediction. He said, "I don't want any kind of material benedictions. Bhakti is sufficient for me," like that. And then in this section, Narasimhadev is giving instructions to Prahlad Maharaj. For, in the previous section, Narasimhadev already told you you enjoy the kingdom, enjoy all the opulences, and then perform bhakti with fixed determination, fixed mind, like that. He already Narasimhadev gave information. And then Prahlad Maharaj says, "Okay, just take care of my father only." That's what we heard in the last section. That means deliver father. So now, in this section, Narasimhadev was telling Prahlad Maharaj, "Don't worry, your father is already purified just by my touch itself, like that." And then he also glorified the presence of devotees. Devotees being present in a country, forget about the family. So devotees are present in a family, family is purified, delivered, and the devotee is present in the country, country is purified. Like that, Narasimhadev glorified until the 19th verse. 19th verse. And then uh, he said in the last two verses, he said, "You are the best devotee, and everybody should follow your example. Then they will also become pure devotees," like that he described in up to 21st verse. Now going to today's section, 22nd verse onwards. So there are a couple of important lessons, so I'll touch on. So first one is most important. Let us go through that. Basically, in the 22nd verse, uh, Narasimhadev is instructing Prahlad Maharaj, "Your father is already purified. Your father is already delivered. So, but still, you perform a funeral for him," he's saying. So, the interesting thing in the purport Prabhupada gives us is, Hiranyakashipu is already purified. Then what is the point in performing funeral? 2 points he makes. One is, Hiranyakashipu still needs to take a birth in a higher planetary system, so that way he can become a devotee and then go back to Godhead, like that. So that is one explanation Prabhupada gives in the purport. Second explanation Prabhupada gives in the purport is, even though Prahlad Maharaj is already pure devotee, so it doesn't need to perform the Vedic rituals like that. So, but however, he can perform it so that he can set the example for others, like that. That's the other description he gives. So basically two reasons. So we'll elaborate on this point, okay? Because this is very important as practicing devotees to understand this principle properly, so we can practice accordingly. So many times this question comes, okay, do I do this or not? Our family is doing these things. normally Vedic rituals are done like this. Should I do it or not? I'm practicing devotion service now, like that. Question comes. So this section, if you understand, that we'll do the best we need to do. So essentially, the main principle is that we are, just because we are living in this planet, just because we are here, so many people have done service to us and are continuing to do service for us. For example, our fathers and mother gave birth to us, so we are indebted to them. And then the demigods are making sure that we have the air to breathe, and then light to see, all the things, and even body is maintained by demigods. So we are indebted to demigods also. And the rishis or the sages, we're indebted to them because they gave the scriptures to read for us. Otherwise, we don't have it, access to scriptures and Vedic knowledge like that. And then many ordinary living entities, because of birds doing something in the crop, in the agriculture, we're getting benefited. Because animals do something, we get benefited. Because of ordinary people, so many people, we have teachers in the school, teachers in the college who taught us many things. And ordinary people are helping us in so many ways like that. So whenever, the principle to take is, whenever we take service from someone, we are become indebted to them. So we always try to reciprocate to anyone's service. That is a higher level principle to remember. Okay. That means we're indebted to so many people now. So normally, let us say I am not practicing devotion service. Then I am indebted to each one of them. Otherwise, I have to take bus just to uh, clear the debt for them like that. So in fact, if I don't do something for all of them, actually I'm considered sinful according to Vedic culture, Vedic understanding. So that is the other thing. But now, if somebody has developed faith, firm faith in Krishna, that means somebody has developed taste in hearing and speaking about Krishna, and then somebody has a clear knowledge of devotion service. uh, Prabhupada writes the purport. I'm taking the points from there only. The way he describes is, somebody has clear knowledge of devotion service, and somebody has developed detachment from non-devotional activities also. If I'm situated like that, then I don't have any need to perform the ordinary, uh, the Vedic regulations recommended by Vedas, because I'm already situated in pure devotion service. I'm fixed in pure devotion service like that. That is the principle to learn. Now, there are, I am not required to do it, doesn't mean I don't have to do it. I will explain that. I'm not required to do it. Why? We'll discuss it also. So, but still, why do I do it? To set an example for other people to follow. Because other people may get confused. They will not understand. Okay, if you don't do devotion service, if you're not fixed in devotion service, you need to do it. But if you do devotion service, you don't need to do it. They don't understand. They're just seeing that we're not doing that. Then they may get confused that we should not do it like that. So to avoid that, devotees, to set an example, we might need to do it sometimes. That's a principle. We might need to do it like that also. So two principles we heard. One is, when we not developed firm faith in devotion service, and we not developed detachment in devotion, non-devotional activities, then we need to do the regulations fully. That is one reason we said. Second reason is, when we need to set an example for others, we may need to do it also. There are two reasons. Now we'll focus on, why does a devotee not need to do it? Because Krishna himself is telling in 11th Canto of Srimad Bhagavatam to as part of the Uddhava's instructions. So what is saying, Prabhupada is writing the that verse also. Basically, ordinarily, we're indebted to all these living entities, but we don't need to, if we are firmly fixed in devotional service, we don't need to fulfill the obligations. Why? There are two broad reasons Prabhupada gives. One broad reason is that our parents, our demigods, all of them, rishis, everyone, all living entities, they're all part and parcel of one Krishna. So that means if I'm serving Krishna, I'm serving everybody. So if Krishna is satisfied, everyone also is also satisfied. That is one principle Prabhupada is giving. So that he used the common two examples that are given in Srimad Bhagavatam. One is when I give the food to stomach, then naturally all the parts of the body are nourished also. So I don't need to, let us say, I don't need to take some rice and rub it on my hands, take some rice and rub it on my cheek. I don't need to do that. I just give the food to the stomach and that will nourish all parts of the body. Similarly, another example we all most likely heard, which is the example of the watering the roots of the tree. So when you water the roots of the tree, then that nourishment goes to all the parts of the tree, whether it's trunk or whether it's branches, whether it's leaves, twigs, everything is nourished also. So that means I don't need to take a water pot and put it on each of the leaves on the whole tree like that. I can put in the roots and that will nourish the whole tree like that. Similarly, when we are faithfully serving Krishna with firm conviction and devotion service, then everyone else is also satisfied because Krishna is satisfied. That is one important principle Prabhupada is telling by quoting several verses also. So, because we are satisfying Krishna, we don't need to satisfy others like that. Number one principle. Number two, even though we're getting service from this person, that person like that, but still they're able to do that service to us only because Krishna has given them the ability, Krishna has given them resources also. That is why they are able to do some service to us. So we recognize that ultimately the mercy is coming from Krishna through each of those agents or representatives or instruments like that. That's why we serve Krishna, that takes care of everyone like that. There's another principle Prabhupada is giving in the purport. These are two important principles to understand. Also, why we do not worship demigods? Because ultimately they are part and parcel of Krishna. So when we are serving Krishna, they are served. Number one. Number two, whatever demigods are able to give is because of the mercy of the Krishna. So that's why when we serve Krishna, we don't need to serve them. That's the two principles we can learn. So somebody might ask, oh, demigods are also parts and of parcel of Krishna. So what is wrong in serving demigods, then worshipping demigods like that? So because then we're worshipping Krishna only. Yes, that's an exalted platform. Like devotees like Bharat Maharaj, they worship demigods, understanding that they are limbs of Krishna. So that is authorized if you are doing like that. But then, in our neophyte stage, we might have mixed. Our devotion is not pure yet. We have mixture. We have some material desires currently. So when we worship demigods, naturally they will come out. Then we'll ask material desires fulfillment, which is not suitable, which is not favorable for bhakti. So that is one reason we're not encouraged to worship demigods. Another reason Krishna directly tells in Bhagavad Gita that when you worship demigods thinking that they are separate from me, then that is avidhi purvakam, worshipping in avidhi purvakam. Avidhi purvakam means not suitable worship. That is not suitable way of worshipping, like that is telling. Avidhi. Vidhi means regulation. Avidhi means against the regulation like that. So that's why hearing Krishna's instruction, we don't do that also. So those are the key principles we can understand around this principle that we heard about. Performing Vedic regulations, as long as we are not seated in firm devotion, or sometimes we may need to do it to set an example like that, or sometimes we may need to do it for the family members. But even when we are doing it, the principle to remember is our faith is still in Krishna, not in each of these regulations like that. That is the principle to remember. Even whether we do it or not, our faith is still in Krishna only. That is the main portion of the session today I want to discuss. That is the main portion of the earlier verses of today. So that's the instruction Narasimhadev gave to him. So now after that, Narasimhadev is telling him, take charge of your father's kingdom and follow the instructions of Brahmanas. Rule the kingdom nicely, but follow the instructions of Brahmana, is telling. So this is an important instruction for us also. Even though we are not kings, we all have a responsible position and we are discharging certain responsibilities and duties towards our family and others in society. So we also need to follow the guidance of Brahmanas, Vaishnavas. Yeah. So that's the important instruction also. So whenever we are not clear, is this pleasing to Krishna? Is this favorable to Krishna Bhakti? Then we can consult the Vaishnavas. That way we can get the guidance. That is our guru, our mentors, like that we can consult them. So we can get the guidance needed like that. That's another principle Narasimhadev is telling to Prahlad Maharaj. Then after that, Prahlad Maharaj follows the instructions of Narasimhadev. He performs the funeral rites for his father Hiranyakashipu. And then after that, Lord Brahma starts to offer prayers to Narasimhadev again now. That's the last section for today. So in that section, Brahma offers prayers in different ways. He says, "Oh, you are the proprietor of the universe. You are the cause of all living entities. You are the original Lord, Adipurusha." Adipurusha, Prabhupada explains in the purport, Adipurusha means he is the original Supreme Lord. From him, all the other demigods also came. Like that he describes. And then he says, "You kill this demon who is troubling the whole universe uh, because he got benediction from me. Thank you so much." And not only you killed Hiranyakashipu, through that you saved Prahlad Maharaj and became an exalted devotee now. He is under your protection. Like that, Brahma is offering prayers. Finally, interestingly, oh yeah, one more important principle I want to share. Brahma says, if one meditates upon you, you naturally protect him. What kind of protection? From all sources of fear, you give protection to him. And he says, including death also. See, he protected Prahlad Maharaj from death, right? So that is true. So sometimes devotees get doubt. Oh, I'm still chanting my 16 rounds. Why am I getting this problem? Why am I getting that problem? Uh, why did the devotee die in accident? If Krishna is there to protect devotees, some devotees may get such doubts like that. So if Krishna wants, he can protect anything that is happening because of loss of nature, the becoming old, diseases, death, like that. But commonly, to not disturb the faith of others, he may not interfere in the loss of nature, number one. But if he still wants to protect a devotee from a death, he can protect also. He can extend the life of devotee also potentially. But he may choose to do it in some situations, he may not choose to do it in some situations. Supreme Lord is independent. That is one principle to learn. Another principle to learn is that what is the real protection that we are looking from Supreme Lord? The real protection is not that I will get some food today. The real protection is not I don't have back pain today. Real protection is not that my boss should treat me nicely. Real protection is not that my wife should treat me nicely. Real protection is not that everybody should praise me. That's not the real protection of the Lord. Real protection of the Lord is that our bhakti is protected. My consciousness is getting elevated. That is the real protection Supreme Lord offers to us. That's why we devotees also pray that please engage me in bhakti. Please help me grow in bhakti. Please help me to serve others in growing in bhakti. That's how we pray for our purity and for our service to others, including our spiritual master and Supreme Lord himself directly. So that's the other principle we can learn from here about Lord's protection. So the last aspect I wanted to mention is Narasimhadev instructs Brahma after this. He chastises him. He says, it is dangerous to give benedictions to demons like this. Just like if you feed milk to a snake, then snake is very envious creature. So just because I give milk, snake doesn't think, okay, let me take care of him. I will not bite him. He doesn't think like that. Snake is envious creature. So envious that even if somebody doesn't disturb also, he will come and bite. That is the nature of these poisonous creatures like snakes and scorpions, like that is described in scriptures. Similarly, when somebody is demoniac, somebody is very, very envious, we don't go to him and try to do something for them like that. So that's why it's an injection in scriptures that we, as practicing Madhyamadhikaris, we don't go and disturb the envious people, because then that will destroy them further and that will also affect our bhakti also. That's the last principle for today. So essentially, we covered three broad sections. One section is as a devotee who is, if we have a devotion, firm devotion for Krishna, and in that situation, we are not required, obliged to do any of the Vedic rituals to clear the debt for other living beings, for other higher living beings, like that. That is one thing we learned. However, we may sometimes do it to set an example for common people, or if we are not situated in firm devotion yet, we may do it also. That is the first principle we discussed. Second principle we discussed was about how we need to follow the Brahmanas advice and Vaishnavas advice. Second one. And third one we discussed was how Supreme Lord's protection. Supreme Lord is beyond the laws of nature, and He offers protection to us. The primary protection He offers is our bhakti and our consciousness to get elevated. However, He may give protection for material things also. He may take care of, give me some nice food that I like. He might take care of my health situation to be nice. He might take care of my job situation. He might do that also. But that's not the main protection devotees are seeking. And the final thing we heard about is how we need to be careful in dealing with demoniac people or envious people. So that way, understanding that even if we try to be nice to them, they may not be able to reciprocate accordingly with us. So we are careful in dealing with them. Yeah. So we'll pause there. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarabhyasya kupa sindhu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Prabhuji, Hari,
What is?
if you have 1 minute, I have a small question.
Please, Mati, go ahead. Yeah.
So how, Prabhuji, we don't know whether we are completely in pure devotional service or not. So when we do the service, we think that we are not pure. So if we don't know whether we have to do the ceremonies or not, how do we know that we are pure or not?
Very nice question, Mati. A couple of things I'll mention. One is that as long as doing the ceremonies is not affecting our bhakti, that means still you're able to still chant rounds, you're still able to do seva, you can continue doing it also. That is number one. Yeah. That means it should not affect bhakti. That is one principle. Second thing is, each of our situation is different. So for example, my parents gave me full liberty in practicing Krishna consciousness, but everybody may not be in that situation. So from my perspective, my parents will say, what do you feel, do it. Then I don't do all the regulatory principles that I'm supposed to do. I just do the Shraddha ceremony. The way I do Shraddha ceremony is again Vaishnavas, by serving Vaishnavas like that. That is my situation. But somebody may be in a situation where parents are very much attached to these rituals. Then for their sake, we may do it as long as it's not affecting our bhakti. Makes sense, Mati?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, whenever anybody has questions, you can always raise hands during everyone's class. So that way, if there's any, if they have time, they can also take questions also. Yeah, always remember, every day you can ask questions any day also.
But this is the completely surrender to Krishna, Prabhuji, because we are like a practicing devotees. So we are not completely pure, right, Prabhuji? So we still have to not perform service. That's okay?
Yeah, the principle was not, we are not completely pure devotee. That's not the what is it. We got the firm faith that Krishna Bhakti is the only thing that will help me, that will protect me, and that is my goal of life. Once we have that understanding, once we are able to act on that understanding, then we don't need to do the rituals, Mati. Make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome, Mati. Because we might have theoretical understanding, but still we may do this thing, that thing, that thing. Then we have to do, we're supposed to do it because we don't have faith yet, full faith yet. Okay, any comments, questions?
No, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.